So we knew that there was a stigma, and many of us said we got to break that stigma. And Berry Gordy did that with the music.
Yes,
they look like they're going to proms every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. But me being a kid and being a Latin kid, I had no connection with anything. Yeah. Except when Santana happened.
Oh, yeah.
Like a few years ago.
That changed everybody's life.
Yeah, I mean, for us in Miami, it gave us hope.
I know.
It was like, oh my God, you mean one of us it's got a record and it's on the radio? No,
and
great.
He's still the icon, isn't he?
Yeah,
he sells more records than any Latino.
Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible.
I beg the powers to let me sing a song on one of his records.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I don't have to be amazing. I just want to do that.
It would be so perfect for that too. But going back to that, it was like it was basically teenage angst that they were representing, and the girls screaming for it. Yeah, it was like, hey, this is the ticket. Yeah, I mean, because even though I was a big heavyset kid, I didn't have the heart to be an athlete, and I'm the competitive heart, the heart of, because I was always the biggest kid in high school, in my class. So the gym teacher was like, oh yeah, we're gonna put you in the football team, and I was like, I don't want to squash these little kids. I didn't have the heart to do that because I was bigger than they were. It would be easy for me just to fall on them.
Wow.
So no, this is not what I want to do. I don't want to hurt people. That wasn't built into my DNA. That competitive. I mean, I am competitive in a musical way. You want to go out there and be the best that you can be as a musician, but not hurt anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, anyways, going back to that, with the Beatles, it was just representative. Like, wow, this is something new. Our generation, it's really being represented, and it wasn't just
for the
Beatles.
first time.
For the first time, it wasn't just the Beatles, but it was also the whole British invasion,
right.
And it was a perfect storm. Because you're one of the guys that have talked about this that will probably remember the day Kennedy was shot.
Oh yeah,
how was that?
Vividly, I was coming out of gym class, and we have to go through this hallway. Some kids come towards you, and the ones leaving go single file. And we're walking slow for some reason. I don't know what happened, but the girl just says to me as she's walking, "President Kennedy got killed," and she kept going. I'm going, "What?" And I got back to my class, and then the teacher told us.
Yeah. And as you recall, it happened around Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving was, very gloom.
Okay, I don't remember that. I just remember when she told me.
I do. I remember.
I was in school, so it had to be.
I mean, Thanksgiving holiday was like nobody was celebrating. Because, I mean, how can you celebrate when Kennedy got shot? Your president has been killed. Then after that, we had Christmas. The same thing. How can you celebrate Christmas? And I was, just like you, I was just a kid, And then New Year's Eve, and then by the time the Beatles came in February, it was like, man, us kids, something's got to change here. We need to move on.
I didn't even see that part of it. Wow.
And that really had a huge impact. It was time to move on. Because we were kids. Kids think different than adults. Now as an adult, it would be a different impact. And
wow.
So.
I didn't think about that on that side of it. That's pretty cool. Another way to look at it, I didn't see that aspect of it.
So you mentioned that your family was listening to jazz. Now, in the 60s, were they listening to that too? So you went through the whole jazz experience?
And this whole thing and gospel. And there was no country, even though my mother finally told me that her favorite music is country music and Johnny Cash is her favorite singer. And I didn't know that coming from a black woman. And she never told us that because she never played country music around the house or nothing. But what she told me was my great-grandfather used to play country music all the time. And he died when I was about a year and a half old, so I didn't get a chance to be around him. And at that point, they stopped. They didn't play that music around the house anymore. So I missed out on that. But anyway, country music, I don't know what I'm talking about. Where did I go? Where am I going from here? I was talking about something. My train of thought, I lose it all the time, sorry.
Yeah, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing to do that.
Okay.
Because you're in the moment.
Yeah.
Social media. We're talking about the effect that certain individuals may have.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Hang on to that. I want to interject something about the Beatles and the whole thing.
Yes.
We played in Canada, and one of my friends came to see us, and he brought his mom, and she's my age.
What year was that?
This is about 9 or 10 years ago now. I'm not sure. And we were on the bus hanging out talking, and she said, the Beatles are my favorite. And I go, oh, cool. And she said, do you understand? And I go, well, I was there. I remember. She says, no, do you understand? And I'm going, no, what do you mean? And she says, for girls. She said, the Beatles were the first band people that said, give yourself to me. She said they were the first band that all these girls were reaching puberty. And in the society in the U.S., it was very puritanical. I mean, no sex without marriage, and you didn't even hardly talk about it. A lot of Catholics, the whole thing, it was like sex was suppressed.
Try dating a Cuban girl.
There you go. Okay. Well, I got friends that say they still feel guilty when they have sex, and they've been married for 30 years, you know. So that's what the church can do to you. But the thing was, that whole thing was being suppressed, and the Beatles came out and gave the young people the go to just let it out. And she said that for her and all the girls, that was a coming of age, because they wanted to give themselves to the Beatles.
It was the perfect storm. You had that. Then you had Playboy.
Right.
The sexual revolution, feminism.
That opening up.
The 60s. What a great decade.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even musically, because
it was.
I mean,
new. Everything was new.
Well, not only this was the beginning of where certain bands started writing their own material, such as the Beatles, and then I've read Andrew Oldham's book about he was the original manager producer for the Beatles. Oh. I mean, I'm sorry, for the Rolling Stones. Okay. Andrew Luke Oldham, right? He's got a series of great books, and one of them he explains that at one point, because the first single that the Stones had was written by the Beatles.
Oh. It was?
I Want to Be Your Man.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a dumbass.
And he explains how it was written in an afternoon in a club and all of that. And he's the one who took Richards and Jagger, put them in the kitchen, and says, you guys are not getting out of this room until you come out with a song. Because he knew the importance of original material within the band, But not every group had those great songwriters like Richards and Jagger and the Beatles or even the Beach Boys and the Doors. Certain bands of the 60s were very blessed to have some great composers within the band.
Yeah.
But the ones that didn't, the songwriters that were available, the music from Jim Webb to Burt Bacharach, Hal David. Motown has some great in-house songwriters. It was phenomenal. The competition on the radio to get on.
Oh, yeah.
It was mind-boggling. As a matter of fact, I'm playing with the Guess Who. I'm the new bass player in the Guess Who. And
really?
They date back to 1965.
Wow.
I
love that band. You guys doing Hang On To Your Life?
No, we don't.
Oh, it's my favorite song by them. My favorite.
We have so many hits. Yeah. 17 hits.
I know.
And it's only so much time to play.
That's not a hit, but it has deep lyrics.
Yeah.
Lyrics that I would write, what I like to.
But we have to play the hits.
I know.
That's what people
have to.
Come
I'm not trying to tell you what to do.
No, I know.
But when you guys come to town, please let me know. I got to go.
We just played a couple of weeks ago at the Canyon Club. I'll let you know next time.
Okay.
You were probably out of town because you have like 10 bands. Which is one thing that I want to
9 bands.
that I want to get into.
Okay.
So, we were rewinding back to that puberty. You were talking about puberty.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I was talking about, being 13 years old and seeing the Beatles and saying, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't know how. I'm just some fat little Cuban kid in New Jersey, and then I moved to Miami, and that's when I started playing the bass, because I went to my, back in the day, social media was actually bands in your block. Each block had a band.
Oh, yeah.
And
everyone tried to be better than the other one.
Yeah.
And that's what great bands came from.
Absolutely. And my band was on. They used to rehearse on this side of the street in a garage down in the middle of the block. So I walked in and introduced myself, say I want to join you guys, and I play guitar. And then they go, no, we got too many guitar players.
Always.
But we need a bass player. How did you wind up playing bass?
I've always loved bass. Bass is the thing I loved. Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, a song called Why Do Fools Fall in Love. I was about 5, and my cousin put it on the record player, and I remember that bass line. And from that day on, it was pretty much all I was obsessed with until I started.
I have to listen to the bass line next time because I always listen to the vocals. It's such an amazing vocal track.
Yeah.
It's a doo-wop.
It is an amazing vocal track.
Yeah.
That is true. He's a great singer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, back then when I was a kid, I just sang along with him. It was like, because I could sing. My mom said I was singing before I could talk.
It was like the original Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he was. And and he was so young, too, to be singing about that stuff.
I know.
And I heard that he got in a lot of trouble at a young age with women.
Yes, right.
And I'm going, boy, he before puberty, he was even after him, you know. It's like, whoa. I think he went to jail a couple times and stuff, you know. But yeah, he had a voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that bass line, man.
Absolutely.
Upright bass.
Upright bass.
On a speaker about, 3 inches long. You heard the bass.
Yeah. Yeah, those mixes, those old 60s mixes, how everything is so evenly balanced. You can hear everything.
Yeah.
Whether it's the Wrecking Crew or Motown.
Yeah.
Everything is just...
You can put your hand in it.
Especially the tambourine.
Oh, yeah.
Motown tambourine is always a lot of things.
That was the thing that kept people going. The beat was the tambourine. It was like the click track. God, I remember how loud those tambourines were. And the Beatles, gosh.
I know.
When we did our first record, I remember Sam said, okay, we got to put the tambourines in there. And I'm going, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tambourines, and he did. He put them in there, and I'm going, turn that thing down,
And the cowbell and this song, "I Call Your Name."
Oh yeah,
I call your name. Cock, cock. It's like an anvil with a hammer.
I know. We had a phrasing back in the day. We'd say, "More cowbell, please," just to make a joke, because everybody said, "Put some cowbell on it."
Yeah. Well, another band that I play with was Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, there you go. Awesome.
and you'll be. I mean, you're probably not gonna be surprised because you've seen a lot. But we used to get like, let's say we play casinos, and a busload of very excitable women. I hate to say that. I hate to use the word drunken women, but they were
excited and drunk.
That's right. And they would run from the very first song. They would run to the front of the stage with a cowbell, each one of them, and start banging. Drunk, right?
All out of tune.
Really offbeat, every one of it, right? And the security would come and say, no, not yet. Because they knew that the last song was going to be the cowbell song.
So you're telling me before the show, they're running down with cowboys.
No. On the first song, they would just run up, right? So here comes the last song. Don't Feel the Reaper, right? And by now, they are about 90 minutes drunker than they were on the
9
first
sheets
song.
to the wind.
Now it's really bad. And so I would just like step away from the edge of the stage because I have to hear the drum beat. Yeah. I would stick my head on the kick drum, just the downbeat.
Oh God, those cowbells must have been so loud.
Oh, loud and out of sync with everything that was going on.
That's funny. God, that's funny. I never heard that story.
Oh yeah, well. Okay, so going back to social media, because we were talking about being accepted, by society in general. It's bad enough trying to be accepted by your environment,
your family, your
friends, people that are people that might not be your friends, but you have to go to school with.
Right.
They're there.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by them. Whether it would be because of your religious belief, or ethnic background, social economic background, anything, right? Now imagine social media.
I don't even know what to say.
as an artist, you know, I mean, I grew up with a generation that to me, the musicians that I really admired, I like to keep them